right, y'all not ready for this. Hold up. Y'all not ready for this. This is the self-care portion. If you don't have this tarot deck, it's really good. Neo Tarot. My girl. Okay, take 100. Maybe I should start creating scripts. You know what? I'm going to start doing that. Well, look at me learning as I go. So when I initially made this video, it had the binaural beats on top of it. So I was listening to alpha waves, the 8 through 13 frequency. And while I was letting it play in the video, it was really loud. So there was no way I was actually going to be able to hear myself, let alone you being able to hear me speak. But essentially, I'm just doing a tarot reading on myself, and I'm like shocking myself in the process, because it's like, but this always happens. It's a way to get guidance, but it's really your hands on the deck. And you are essentially telling yourself what you already know, but it's just always like, there we go. Another one bites the dust. I'm flipping through the cards and I stumble upon these 4 cards: the King of Swords, the Hierophant, the Magician, and the Devil card. I feel like, oh, and here I am. Jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joo, joo, jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joob, joo, 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 jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joob, ja, ja, ja. Jigga-joob, joo, 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 jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joob, joo, jigga-joob. And we got a card out. So the King of Swords, a person or energy that demands analysis and principle of the highest order. The King of Swords is a pillar of rationality and rectitude. This card says, speak your truth and be political about it. Lean on your sense of right and wrong. Don't be overly cautious, and remember that even when a judgment you make is incorrect, if it comes from a place of purity and facts, you're okay. Just don't be too rigid towards yourself or others. Can represent Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. The element is fire of air. The themes are intellectual, in command, noble, and penetrating. The affirmation is, it's my duty to use my power of speech to inspire and heal the world. Now, when I initially pulled this card, you'll eventually see, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Because a part of this particular tarot deck, the book that it comes with, not only does it show you the meaning upright, but it shows you the meaning in reverse. It also tells you the actionable steps you can take, and is classified as self-care or characterized as self-care. And they also tell you the elements, the themes, and the affirmations. Now, for this self-care card, it says, make a video of yourself speaking to your phone screen. You're not going to upload it unless you want to. You're simply talking. Pick any subject that interests you, but pretend you're addressing the whole of YouTube. How does it feel to speak so openly? Terrifying, liberating. Let yourself feel the awkwardness, then move past it. Finding your voice is a long journey. Start here. And it's like, girl, I'm making a video right now. Like, fuck is you talking about? Like, you're bugging. Like, why are you watching me? So I was pretty shocked about that. And then I get into the Hierophant. She's like, the Hierophant signifies collective energy of teaching and learning through doctrine, through traditions old and new, and through conformity, the prevailing norms. This card can signify a desire to follow the path and its associated rites of passage that people expect of you. To find trustworthy teachers and pursue knowledge that could confirm or else shift your current beliefs in a transformative way. If you're called to teach what you know, do with the best intention to serve. This self-care was read for pleasure, not a book that you think you should read. Go to the library and grab something that speaks to you in a deeper way. Don't spend too much time reading the blurb. Just take it home and read it until the end. Let yourself relish in the intimacy, privilege, and learning experience, regardless of the book, that is reading just for you. And the affirmation is, I'm a bridge between heaven and earth, transmitting wisdom for the greater good. Oh, I lied. It's the Fool. The power of the mind is an incredible force, capable of anything. When the magician appears, we're invited to use that force for constructive, positive purposes. We have a limitless ability to tap into spirit, bringing heaven down to earth. With us, the mere conduits. In that sense, we simply have to go about it with dedication and get out of our own way. When we can do that, bridging the spirituality and integrity, we can achieve greatness. Self-care for this is we all have that one song, that one that's so emotionally moving, so brilliant, so affecting. It brings us to our knees. The type made by artists who seem possessed, channeling something from another dimension. Re-listen to that song that reminds you of what God-given gifts look like. Know that we all have access to this. Access to this. Ask yourself, what can you do to bring heaven down to earth today? And this is, I'm a channel for divine energy and inspiration. I materialize my dreams. And the last one I got was the Devil. And it says, our shadow is the basement of the mind containing anything we repress. The devil represents the illusion of separation between our consciousness and our shadow selves. This card shows up when we're ready to face what we've been denying about ourselves. Not facing this leads to anxiety, dependency, and addiction, whatever that means to you. The only thing trapping you right now is your own shame and guilt. Accept and wholly embrace all parts of yourself so you can feel free. Self-care. So embrace your shadow by indulging in some wild fun. Go to a party, become more sexually adventurous, embody the spirit of the Dionysian pleasure. Responsibly. Anything that makes you feel more free and whole. There is nothing scary or evil within you. There's only you. Accepting yourself is a non-negotiable. And the affirmation is, I acknowledge the denied parts of myself and detach from oppressive bonds. It's reflective of this week for sure. You know, just working on the whole practicality, logic with faith and spirituality. Yeah. And that's is all. Ciao. Okay. This is night 2. I wish I could be a day 1, day 2 girl, but during the day, I'm just trying to utilize my brain. And when I do these videos, I don't feel like I have to do that anymore. I'm fresh out the shower, I'm fresh out the bath, just finished brushing my teeth. You know, it's after 9 o'clock. We just take it down, turn it off. I did the interview today and it went well. We talked for like an hour, and the only thing is that they told me they wouldn't get back to me in 2 weeks, and I need to move out this week. I think just as an adult, I've never been in this situation before. In the uncertainty, I feel like I am in a blur. I feel like I'm in limbo. I feel like I am being put on hold when that's just not reality. I'm not being put on hold. I'm not stuck. I am moving along. I keep waking up every single day. So there must be some shit that needs to get done. And I'm not gonna get anywhere being fake busy or just adding a shit ton of things on my list that aren't important. Salvation Army, or put it by the dumpster so Salvation Army can come pick it up, or I'm gonna go to USPS to send out some mail, or I'm going to look for my charger for my handheld vacuum for my car. Like, baby, these are not serious things, right? Like, who's making this up? Not I. They're not serious things. Let's look up the meaning to this.
Seeing the icon on the clock is often interpreted as a sign of alignment, balance, and manifestation. Here's what it can mean. Spiritual and numerological meaning. Master number 22. This number is known as the master builder in numerology, symbolizing big dreams, discipline, and turning ideas into reality. Seeing it doubled amplifies its energy. Balance and harmony. The repeating 2 suggests that balance in relationships, emotions, or life decisions is key right now. Manifestation and divine timing. 22 is often seen as confirmation that you're on the right path and your desires are in the process of becoming reality. Personal reflection. Since you're currently in a period of transition, seeking creative success, financial security, and making big life decisions, 2022 could be reminding you to trust your vision and take aligned action. It may also be a sign to stay balanced between practicality and faith, something you've been working on. Did anything specific happen when you saw 2222?
Doing research, long form content, documentarian style work, like doing those experiential events, like building community around that, producing stuff like that, hosting stuff like that. But also, as far as that's like more like faith driven, right? But as far as practicality, it's making Ashton get to school on time and ensuring that the house is secure, the bills are paid, that I'm sticking to a healthy regimen as far as like my morning routine goes. I know I said I'm not a day girl, and I'm not. But I was like, if I'm going to be making these videos every single day, or at least making sure I'm recording myself every single day, I need to be mindful of my time. So I need to go pick up the U-Haul in like 40 minutes. So as soon as I got home, I just made dinner. Salmon, avocado, cilantro rice, broccoli. And I was like, I'm going to come home, eat, go get the U-Haul. By the time I get back home, I'm not going to want to make a video. So this is not night 3, but day 3. I'm moving. I need to leave. I'm not going to renew my lease. Because 1, I don't have the budget. 2, it doesn't make sense to renew and not know. But the reality is that I'm moving and not knowing. Work has been hella slow since 2023. And though, shout out to my friends, because I've gotten like projects on the side, or even just like helping them with their projects. But overall, I have not had like a full-time work. So if not even helping them with the projects, I was working at a restaurant at one point, like going in hosting type thing. And not hosting like on the mic, which I would love to do, but more so hosting just as just hosting as somebody who gets people their seats and makes their reservations and stuff like that. And while I'm no stranger to the hustle, like, you got to get it how you live. I've realized that I just need community. Like, I want community more than anything. Like, I moved here with the idea that I'm going to buy a house and I'm going to rent out my own studio. I'm going to eventually make that house into an investment property, put it on Airbnb. Like, I'm just gonna enjoy the idea of living here, being by the beach, being by a pool, being by a jacuzzi, going out by the water, like taking nice little walks and enjoying outdoor yoga, like stuff like that, you know? But you can't really enjoy it if you're not able to maintain the lifestyle that comes with it. And I've realized that you will literally be locked in your house all the time. And even for people who are able to maintain the lifestyle, they can't really enjoy it because they're caught up in the ways that they're trying to maintain it, you know? So at this point, I could live in a studio with my child and I'll be like, cool, great. As long as I'm building with my people, talking to my people, whether that's professionally, personally, like just being in life and not being in my head. That's where I want to be. A huge shift for me, but I'm willing to make it work. I had went to the Googles time and time again, figuring out, okay, what's the best school? Because I also learned that with moving, when you get an apartment or you get in a house, wherever you go, especially if you have children, you want to go to the place where the community pours into the school most. And so instead of looking for the house first or the apartment first or the community first, I looked for the school first. Because where the schools are being lifted, funded, resourceful, and have different programs, scholarships for the children, that's where I want to necessarily live by. You still want your child, even if they are academically successful, they are proven to be great scholars in the whole nine, you want them to be socially involved and cared for and appreciated and valued. And if their skill set is not valued because it lacks representation or they don't see themselves in other people, to a certain degree, it does create a sense of isolation. Like social isolation. It's hard to make friends. I grew up in Brooklyn, so all my life I've seen different races, different cultures, different ethnicities all blend together. And whether they get along or not, no, not all the time. But for me personally, I was a social butterfly. And I like to think I still am to some degree, but overall, I'm able to just walk into any room and feel comfortable. And when we stifle our children with just one way of being, one way of thinking, it's not, forget it being a safe space. It's just no room for open-mindedness. There's no room for, let's see how you think. Let's see how you move. Let's see how you talk, integrate and educate and enlightened. It's not that kind of conversations happening. So during this process of me trying to find a school and then being like, okay, I'm going to move into that place that's closer to the school, it makes no sense because majority of these schools are white. Majorities of these nice schools, at least out here, are white. What am I doing? We gonna just keep sending our kids to white schools, predominantly white schools, and what are their social skills gonna be like every day? These things really do matter. You could ask any child that's been to a PWI what their experiences were like. And how has that shaped them in this world? Usually it's some form of social anxiety. And not to say that people who don't have social anxiety who enter schools that are more diverse or cultured, but as an adult, you just move differently. And my child is so smart. I'm not worried about him now, getting this education or obtaining any kind of information. I know he's going to be successful and I know he's going to win in that area. I'm more so thinking like as far as like social skills. I want him to be valued. I want him to be appreciated. I want somebody to see him and be able to see him. And yeah, some teachers do, some teachers don't, but the reality is he's dealt with a lot of fucking racism being here. Some of these kids is just obsessed with the idea of blackness or the idea of saying the word nigga. Like, baby, please give me a break. It's like, and this is like on a weekly basis. Come on. But this wasn't my experience growing up. So I can't necessarily relate to him, but as his parent, as his guardian, as his guide, I can be prepared for better. So at this point, I'm just sucking it up. I'm sucking it up that, maybe the resources won't be as delightful, or the programs or access to scholarships won't be as available. But he will understand what community is. And he will know how to thrive in those spaces. I saw this video, not these people, these dogs all sitting together. These Dalmatians have spots. And they were all sitting together, cuddled with each other on the couch in the corner. And it was so cute. But then there was this one dog who was just laying on the ground. And it's just like, are y'all serious? Y'all not gonna let him cuddle with y'all because he's not a Dalmatian? I don't want that for my child. And it sucks too, because I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves to make sure our children have the best resources, but we don't think about how they're being affected socially. When I pick up my son from school, I'm like, so how was recess? What's the tea? How was recess? Who did you play with? Who did you talk to? What was the conversation like? And sometimes I don't even have to ask all those questions. Once I hit him with the how was lunch? Yeah, I ate my food. Yeah, and I talked to so-and-so, and I said to him, blah, 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 blah. He said to me, blah, 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 blah. Like, you know what I mean? Anyway, I've just learned being here that luxury is subjective. It's all subjective, because it's like, these are your values. These are your values. Do you value a home? Do you value a mansion? Do you value an apartment? Do you value a loft? Do you value community? Do you value a public infrastructure? Do you value driving, living by the trees in nature? Do you value living by congestion? Like, what do you value? Do you value having a great career? Or do you value being creative and not making money? Like, what is it that's on you? I just know that I came here with this idea that I was going to do this, I was going to have this, I was going to have this, and I have only been shown that it's not realistic, because it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, right? But in my head, I'm like, the only way for me to do that is if I'm working, like, and I have a job and I'm under a company, under an establishment. And it's like, girl, you have your own company. Now you have to do the work and apply the skills that you've learned. And it's like, but I like being what, And it's like, no. You have to do this by yourself, and whoever decides to come along with you on the ride, then you move forward like so. I realized I didn't show you guys the chamomile card. Or I didn't read about it. It essentially says, they tell you the upright meaning, the reverse meaning, the astrological ruler, and they also tell you where the origins of chamomile has come from, and its historical backgrounds. But after I read that, the focus is the guidance. What is this card essentially trying to tell you? And the guidance is, If you find yourself often triggered and consumed by small stresses, be aware that they accumulate, creating a chronic state of disharmony and fear. Chamomile today is reminding you not to project your fears onto life and others. Reminding you, allow yourself a state of internal peace and give yourself the greatest love imagined. Chamomile, like deer energy, instills a contained center of innocence, warmth, and light within us. Deer blesses us with the power of gentleness to heal our wounds and the heart mind of wounded beings. Don't push hard to do the work. It is gentleness of spirit that heals all. As I'm getting all this phlegm out of my body, I have no choice but to be gentle with myself. Being sick will have you feel like after this you're gonna rule the world, because it withdraws you from so much that you're not able to do. Literally, I could not breathe. I feel like for like a week I could not breathe. I had these crazy chest pains I've never had in my life. It felt like a pencil was inside of my chest doing this. And now that I have some semblance of breath, and I just know that yes, the path is extremely uncertain, but I have to keep creating. Like I just have to. And not let the perfectionist, producer energy, organized, detailed get under my skin. Because the minute I do that, I become way too analytical. I'm like, let's look at this, let's look at this, let's look at that, let's look at this. And I treat my life like that. And it's like, girl, you're not even having fun. You're not having a good time. You're not enjoying this. And it's not always going to be enjoyable. Yes, understood. But you're not leaving any room for spontaneity or like different outcomes, because you're so focused on one. That's not life. And I'm tired of reading and hearing stories about like, oh, time passing you by. They get to die. Like, no ma'am. No ma'am. Right here. Right now. Right here. Right now. Okay. I gotta go. But yeah, until next time. Until day 4.